This is Ryan's half of the Sprint 4 recap video for Breaking Boundaries. Most of the work that I did this week was centered around the collective experience framework that we are looking to build during winter quarter, specifically some architecture exercises, high and low level, and trying to distill the properties of the specific experience apps that we have talked about so far. So I spent some time writing out the architecture for several of these apps in the format that you might input into sort of an app engine and trying to analyze, what are the common features of these apps, how do we classify them, and how do we group them in such a way that we could write a program that would generate or scaffold, maybe 80 or 90% of the app's functionality. We have in this ideas document, there's a lot of I think very insightful stuff here about what makes a collective experience and how you would classify collective experience apps. The exercise that I did architecting some of the apps sort of indicates that our third category, capture of an event, is actually a subcategory of information communication. It seems to me that after doing those exercises, there are really two main types of collective experience applications. There's ones that involve action generally in the real world, and there are ones that involve information and communication. So I also created a spreadsheet where I took every idea that we've come up with so far and classified it under each of the categories, and then at the end basically used each of these categories, because they're binary, to form a binary number. So each of these categories represents a place in a binary number, and then it either result as a kind of a unique identifier for the specific combination of parameters that make up each of these experiences. So you can actually see in these type numbers the exact relationship between the types of experiences that these, sometimes very distinct applications are. I also created a application to demo the user query engine, or not demo the user query engine, but sort of prototype the user query engine, a simple Meteor app that has users and then simply allows you to query users based on different parameters. So the idea is that in the full version of this, you'll be able to essentially select subsets of the user group by whatever parameters you need for your task or your game or whatever experience you want to have. So whether that's people with a camera, people with a dog, people in a certain location, maybe near a beach, maybe near something else, we would construct a system that would allow you to, in theory, pass in basically a JavaScript object, and then the query engine will parse that, figure out what sort of parameters you need, and then query the Mongo database for the appropriate users. I also wrote out architecture for the collective experience engine itself and the user query engine in Meteor. So this is the like the simple demo app, and if we have 3 users with different parameters, so let's see, users who have a dog is only going to be Houchi. Users who work at a tech company is going to be me and Kevin. Users who get into a bar, I'm not 21 yet, so it's only Kevin and Houchi. And then you can assign random parameters. So in the Meteor profile, we might have users with a camera, and we can see that that's also Kevin and Houchi. And those are just created from basic JSON objects in the user profile using the Meteor accounts dash password. We can basically put whatever we want in this profile object, and then when we click buttons, we'll actually query those. And the way I do that is I have a Meteor method that takes an object called filter. This is just a simple JavaScript object, and then that's formatted in such a way that when you run users.find, it'll do that. For the actual user query engine, what we'd like to do is take something like this line that's querying to see whether a user's company that they work for is something in this array, in this case either Google or Indiegogo, and basically abstract that away so that we don't have to deal with these kind of pesky query selector special items here. And we just be able to pass in an object that has the set of attributes that we want to match for, and the query engine takes that apart, formats it correctly, and passes it to the method to get the appropriate users.